This is Into the Fire. I'd like to welcome to Into the Fire the stylish, the legendary cricketer, radio and TV personality, Greg Blewett.
Hello, mate. How are you? All right?
I'm good.
Good man.
So, Blewey, you were a Prince Alfred boy and quite the footballer, they tell me. What position did you play?
I was in and under sort of player. No, not really. I was a forward flanker. Used to try and kick a few goals, and I grew up when I was your age, going up with friends back and trying to take the big screamers. So I sort of tried to do that a fair bit. I reckon I wasn't a bad mark. Not a great kick, but yeah, played a couple of years first 18 at PAC and played a little bit of underage stuff for Norwood as well. So loved my footy. So when I had to give it away, cut me up a bit for a couple of years because I missed playing footy with my mates. But I broke my leg twice playing footy. So that's sort of like cricket, footy. So I thought I'm not going to break my leg playing cricket. So yeah, love my footy though.
Sounds good. Who doesn't like taking a spectacle?
That's right.
So you played 2 games for Norwood under 17s and had to give it up to follow your dreams in cricket. If I was an AFL scout, what would have been the abilities I would have seen you show?
Well, as I said, I had pretty good hands. Found the footy a little bit. I don't reckon I was a great kick though, so that probably would have held me back a bit. I was built like you as well, mate, a bit scrawny. So I would have had to have done a fair bit in the gym. But yeah, my main attribute I reckon would have been I reckon I was a pretty good marker overhead.
Yeah. Before we move on to the cricket, a little birdie tells me you're an excellent triple jumper. The Olympics were beckoning, I hear. Here comes your chance to hype it up, Blewey. No one will know the truth.
Great research, mate. Yeah, so at the end of Little Athletics, so I think that's under 12s. So I went to the national champs over in Perth and miraculously won a gold medal in the triple jump. So, but in order to do that, like I reckon about 2 months out from the champs, I was training like every night for this thing. And at that age, it sort of put me off a little bit, athletics. So that was the last time I ever did it. Yeah. So I wanted to get back into cricket and footy after that. So, but up until then, Little Athletics I loved it, absolutely loved it. So whenever I'm talking to kids about playing sport, I always say athletics is a great little base to, good for your other sports as well.
Seems like you're good at a lot of sports. So you chose cricket, and thank goodness you did, and toured England with the under-19 side, and you were the leading run scorer. Did you think, hey, I might be able to crack the big time here? Yeah,
I reckon that was the first time, I sort of thought, right, I'm going okay. We had some good players on that trip as well. We had Michael Kaspovich, Adam Gilchrist and Damien Martin were on that trip as well. So I reckon that was like, then I was around the cricket academy at that time as well, close to the state squad. So yeah, around about that time I started to think, right, now's a really good opportunity to sort of really train hard, keep improving, and might make a career of it.
Yeah, you did. You got an AIS scholarship in 1990, and then in 1991-92, played for SA in the Sheffield Shield. What was it like playing at that level at such a young age? Yeah,
it was pretty daunting, to be honest. It happened a little bit quicker than I thought. I sort of came in, and in that era, a lot of the older players in the South Australian team really had to earn their respect, and you sort of had to sit in the corner and not say too much. We try and change that now. We want young kids to come into our system and feel really welcome, whereas back then it was like, when am I allowed to talk, all that sort of stuff. But I think I think I got 50 in my second Shield game, and then I got a few more 50s as the season went on, and felt like I sort of earned the respect of those senior players. So, but yeah, definitely the first 2 or 3 games I was cacking myself pretty much.
Yeah. Can you remember what runs you made? Because I couldn't find a scorecard anywhere.
I reckon my first game up in Brisbane, Matthew Hayden was his first game as well. I reckon he made 149. but I reckon I made about 18 in my first innings. And then, as I said, I reckon the second Shield game was here against Tasmania, and I know I got 50. So in my second game.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
You were pretty good in SA side until the 1994-95 season. Then you went bang and burst onto the scene as a star. Test debut versus England at Adelaide Oval. So you played on the best oval in Australia against the old foe, scored a century. Wow, dream debut. We won't say you lost the test.
No, that's a good point, because I always say it would have been an absolute dream coming true to be able to, play in front of your home crowd, in front of your family and friends, and make 100 on debut, and then go on to win the game. But we actually lost the test match, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
You almost didn't get that 100, did you? Bet that was a nervous time.
It was. So I think I was 91 not out overnight, and we still had wickets up our sleeves in the sheds, but we lost a couple. I think Ian Healy got out really early, or Damien Fleming quickly after that as well, and then Craig McDermott had a bit of a stomach complaint, so he got rushed to hospital, and I was stuck with Peter McIntyre, and he's not much good. So I had to take a few risks, and luckily I got there, but I played some pretty, not courageous shots, but I was sort of going for it. And everyone, I think the whole crowd didn't know that Craig McDermott wasn't at the ground, so they were sort of going, what is he doing? But thankfully I got there in the end.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah.
Okay, so second test in Perth, and yet another time. How easy is test cricket? This time a big win.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I thought, what's everyone worried about? Test match cricket's pretty easy, but I learnt the hard way that it wasn't always going to be that way. So, actually, I remember Mark Waugh coming off after that game, and he said to me, he goes, "Oh yeah, Test cricket's pretty easy, isn't it?" But had my challenges after that, but it was a great start, definitely.
Yeah. I don't want to open up old wounds, Blewey, but I noticed you had two 99s and out bowled. Got a bit nervous there, Blewey. Did you walk off thinking I blew it? Sorry, had to use it.
I remember the second 99 was down in Hobart, and I was pretty cranky at missing that one. But the 99 that I made here at the Adelaide Oval against the West Indies, I reckon I got dropped when I was about 20 or 30, and it was the easiest catch of all time. So I thought any runs that I got after that were a bit of a bonus, but still disappointed to miss out when you're 99 that close. But I remember the second one against New Zealand, I was pretty cut up after that one. So two 99s in the same season was it was pretty rough.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. So it was a long time till your next century. 19 innings actually after such a good start. Was it frustrating? Was it a frustrating time?
Yeah, it was. Because I reckon I might have got dropped before that second or that third 100 as well. So I was like any young player. Didn't perform very well. Got out of the side. Made lots of runs for South Australia to get back into the side. So I knew that I had to improve my game. I had found out that I had a few little weaknesses that I needed to work on. So. But I always felt like I was going to get back into the side, so I just had to work hard and keep improving. Yeah.
Yeah, you were really good. Well, after that dry spell, you hit your biggest score, 214 against South Africa, and you and Steve Waugh scored 365 runs together. What an innings! And to do it with one of the greatest Aussie batsmen ever must have been unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a great day, mate, because South Africa had just come back into world cricket, and they were a very good team, and we were really determined to beat them on their home soil. And so that partnership with Steve Waugh sort of set the game up for us. We went on to win that Test match, and then we went on to win the series as well. So great day. It doesn't happen very often where two guys bat the whole day and the opposition don't get a wicket. I remember it being a nice pitch, beautiful day, like it was not a cloud in the sky, fast outfield, so it was a great day for batting. But it was a very special day in my career.
Sounds like a special day.
Yeah.
Now, you were known as the master batter of pace bowling, but it was talked often about your struggles with spin, especially Mustard, Ahmed, and Anil Kumble. Was this struggle struggle real, and could you pick the googly?
It was absolutely real. I could pick. It was mainly Mushtaq troubled me with his googly fairly early in that series. I could pick it, but I really struggled with starting my innings against spin bowling, because all the cricket I'd played up until I played Test match cricket was I was an opening batter or I was number 3, and I'd never ever started any of my innings against spin bowling. So to walk out somewhere like the SCG and have 3 or 4 guys around the bat and then chirping away, it was like a really new experience for me. So I didn't handle that very well. So that's the other thing. I got dropped after that, and then I worked really hard against spin bowling, and then I was not bad at it after that. So but apple crumble was pretty hard to combat in India. I played him all right here in Australia, but in India, yeah, he was pretty hard work.
Yeah, he sounds like hard work.
Yeah.
Okay, away from the Aussie team, is that draw you had to win the Sheffield Shield the greatest moment in your cricket career? I watched the highlights of that last over, and I was worried, and I knew the result.
Yeah, no, it was. I watched it again the other day. We had it going in the rooms. Yeah, that was pretty special. That's right up there. So, you know, along with my Australian achievements, that Sheffield Shield final is right up there. We haven't won one since. So, no, that was pretty nerve-wracking. And I don't know whether you know this or not, but I think I got 70 odd on that last day. But and then I had to watch the rest of it, and I sort of thought we'd lost it. But then we started to put on a bit of a partnership, but I couldn't. There were so many overs left, and it was so nerve-wracking. I actually couldn't bear to watch it, so I got in my car and went for a bit of a drive for about half an hour or so, because I couldn't bear to watch it. Yeah, and I'd put the radio on from time to time just to check on the score, but I got back for the end of the game, of course, but yeah, I just took off and didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Steve Waugh said you had a lack of discipline and self-belief. Do you think it was true, and do you get on well with him now?
Yeah, I do, yeah. He said that in his book. I reckon I trained pretty hard. I was one of the hardest trainers. Self-belief, I struggled with that at times, just because I felt like a lot of my career I was playing for my spot. So I never really felt like I was, cemented into that Test team. So that's probably where he was coming from. He was probably disappointed that I didn't go on and play a lot more Test matches, which I'm disappointed with as well, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. We had a really good era. There was always pressure from guys coming from beneath you, trying to take your spot. So yeah, I don't know about the discipline part, but maybe at times a bit of self-belief. I probably could have believed in myself a little bit more, definitely.
Yeah. You retired in 2006 and now have become a TV and radio celebrity. What do you like most about radio or TV?
I love that I'm still part of the game, our great game, and we're at these great venues around Australia, around the world, and you're commenting on the best cricket that's going on. That's what I love. I don't miss the sleepless nights before games when you're a player. As a commentator, I don't get as nervous, which is really good as well. But I love that I'm still part of a team, really. Like the rest of the commentators, we try and put on the best show for everyone as well. Sitting at home watching on TV or listening on radio, so it's still, you feel like you're still part of a team, which is something that you probably miss as a player the most when you finish.
Yeah, I love listening to you and Dead Set Legends, and you and G are my favourite on the Big Bash. Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, Gilly's made a really good career out of his commentary, hasn't he? So a lot of people like Ricky Ponting. So yeah, no, I just try and be myself, and try and put on a good show and not talk too much. I reckon a lot of commentators talk too much. So I like going down the sort of like the Richie Benaud style. Let the pictures do the talking when you're doing television, and let the sounds of the game take over and not talk too much.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Couple of quick questions, Blewey. Is it true you had or have a good answering machine message that your daughter hates?
Yeah, I do. So I recorded it when she was about 6, and she says that she's my personal assistant, and then please leave a message and I'll get back to you. But I've had it Yeah, so she's now 19, so it's been there for about 13 years, and she hates it, but it's still there. But everyone that listens to it thinks it's really cute, so it's not going anywhere soon.
Yeah. Why did it say your SA career ended abruptly? What's the real scoop?
Okay, so the real scoop is I had 2 years left on my contract. The chairman of selectors at the time sort of felt like we had to go down a different route, so he thought that the senior players might have been a bit of the problem. So I was first, Darren Lehman was second, and then Jason Gillespie was next. So 3 pretty good players, and I was the first one off the rank, really. So yeah, it was actually a really tough time in my life. I felt like I could play for at least another 2 years, but if I was going to play any more Shield cricket or state cricket, I had to move into state, and I didn't want to leave my 2-year-old daughter. So that was it. I retired, started my commentary career.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Commentary's fun. You play golf off scratch and are amazing at it. However, is your son better known for it?
Yeah, he is. Firstly, I love my golf, but my son Sam loves it as well. So, and my wife follows us around. It's like having our own personal paparazzi. She's got a camera wherever we go, and she films him playing golf and doing other things as well. And she put up a couple of things on social media, and they sort of went berserk. So yeah, a lot of people know who Sam is, and whenever they talk to me, they always ask, "Oh, is Sam still playing golf?" Which he is, but he absolutely loves it. So yeah, he's pretty well known, Sam.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Who's the best player you've ever played with?
Best cricketer I've ever played with would have to be probably Shane Warne, I reckon.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah.
Did you ever room with Shane Warne?
I did, my second test match, which was pretty interesting. I won't go into too much detail, but I roomed with Warnie in Perth. Yeah, so there was a lot going on.
Yeah, sounds cool. Is Adam Gilchrist the nicest guy in cricket?
He's a great guy. And as I said earlier, I toured England in the Australian under-19s with Adam Gilchrist, and I got to know him really well then. And actually, not many people know this, but I had a mullet at the time, and Gilly cut it off for me. He cut it off. So the first day we were in England, we went to the hairdresser, and he cut my mullet off. And then I, got the rest of it tidied up. But yeah, he's a great guy. So he's got to be up there for the nicest guys, definitely.
Yeah, he's definitely a nice guy. Well, Greg, it's been amazing meeting you. You're a legendary player, even if you finished 2 years before I was born. I have loved finding out about you, and it has been fun talking to you. I look forward to seeing you all over the TV screens again this summer. You are such a great guy, so just one thing I'm going to show you. If you get excited one night in the Big Bash and you want a celebration, I got a thing. It's Into the Fire.
Nice, I like it. I reckon I can do that.
Alright, you want to have a try?
Hang on, do it again.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that good?
That's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Blewey. You're a superstar, and I've loved meeting you. Thank you.
You're a legend, mate.
Thanks.
Good man. Thanks for having me.
Who's the best batsman you've ever seen who didn't go on to play cricket?
Have you heard of someone called Matt Rao?
Oh, I have actually.
Yeah, he's without doubt the best player I've ever seen. Yeah, at a young age, unbelievable.
I mean, he says it, but I never thought it'd be true.
No, serious player.